So my name is Lijo, and I was been working in data analytics for 16 plus years of time. So I was mainly concentrating on data engineering, business analytics, and I have certifications in Microsoft, MuleSoft, and I am a master holder in business analytics and bachelor degree in information technology. So this is a brief introduction about me. So today we will discuss about how the Databricks training program. So it's like if you are doing a Databricks, of course you must know about Python and Apache Spark. So the journey will begins from Python, and we will end up with a production machine language model. So that is our aim. So we are learning towards that. So the first thing, the story begins. So what is Databricks? So Databricks is something if you are in a big world of data flows and massive pipelines and machine learning. So if you have in an environment like a lot of data flows are there, a lot of pipelines are there. Hope you are understanding what is a pipeline and what is a data flow. If it is not, so let for the beginning of time, we have some data transformation is happening from one end to another end. It's something like if you have a situation like A is B and B is C. So this is called some sort of an information. So we will do this information and we will use some system to process this information and to get the information. So from this two information, we will get an output as A is C. So we are using a system for the transformation. So this system, if we are using the system, so we are using Azure Databricks as a technology to convert this data from this chunk of information, a chunk of data to this sort of information. So when we have a massive level of information means it is on peta type of information. So it is very difficult for normal system to handle. So for that type of information, if we have a immense level of information, so in that process, we will use Azure Databricks. So our story begins, we will transform it learning the experience of foundation of Python concept to deploy in production. So it's a training program. It will coming from it's a data engineering analytics platform. So we will start with Python and we will go through to the next level. So our first chapter it will be the Python. So it's a language of data. So as you know, a programming language. So we will start with the Python programming language. It is a universal language of data science. So once we have an idea about Python language programming, then we will go for SpyPark, a distributed computing framework that powers the big data processing. So when we are talking about Azure Databricks, so it's mainly it is used for big data processing. If you have a petabytes of data, so we will use this one. So first chapter we will cover the Python basic programming fundamentals and Jupyter notebooks and for an interactive environment and SpyPark environment with Databricks and creating a transformation of data frames. So our class will be something like we will go for one particular concept and we will go to the hands-on of that one. So I am just introducing the workspace which is used for the Databricks. So here I am just putting a simple notebook. So notebook is an area where we can write the codes. So we have, you can see here, we have a lot of option which is available in Databricks. We have write the codes in Python. We can write codes in SQL, Scala or R. So this is the one of the advantage of the environment, and it is AI enabled. So if you want to type something, I'm just giving you, I'm just prompting something. Give statement. Okay, so nowadays it is very much good and I'm accepting it. So I got a code. I'm just giving you an example. So this is how we can write a particular thing in notebooks. So it's very easy nowadays, or we can type the code. So in the nowadays the code will be automatically generated. So it is not like we have to do it from the scratch like the variables. Okay, so when we are learning about any programming language, there is three type of sections are there. One is called sequential, other one is called looping, and the third one is called branching or condition branching. It's BRANCHING. So when we are learning any language, the execution will happen about line by one, two, three. So if you write a code, it will execute like sequentially. That means it will execute the first line, then it will go to the second line, and then it will go to the three. If it is happening in that way, it is called a sequential level of execution. And the other concept is looping. Looping, as you know, if you have a range of 1 to 10, so it will take a loop and it will go for an increment of 1 to 10. The other way of doing is that branching. So this is an if-else case. So if you are considering any programming language, it is Python, Java, Scala, or whatever the programming language is there, we have to learn how the sequential process of this one is working, how the looping is working, and how we can do the branching of this one. So this is the basic on every programming language. So we will cover that particular thing in our Python programming, and we will introduce to the, so I'm just showing some sample code how we are using it in Spark. So this is some code which I prepared for the demo. So you can run this code in the editor which I shown here. So it will write automatically. It will give the output. So that is what the first chapter is. So we will learn about Python and Spark. Spark is one of the API which is used in Python to do the Spark coding. Okay, so this and one of the other thing which we have to say is the basics of Python programming is the data frame. So we must have an understanding of the data frame. Data frame is nothing but it is a array of. I'm just giving you one more. I'm just having one more. Give me a data frame. So code generation is nowadays, so this is called a data frame. As you know, this is an array. So you have columns like name, age, name is John and age, and this is a Spark. I have converted this into a Spark data frame. Is that much easy? You just write the level of Spark dot create a data frame. Automatically, it will create a data frame. So from the data, if I run, it's creating the data pipeline because it is a little bit so you can see the output is coming. So it's very easy. So what have we done is that we in Python we have a list, and the list is converted into a data frame in Spark, and we displayed the data. This is how the data Spark framework is working. So we will learn about this in details, how Python programming basics, and how we will work on the Jupyter notebooks. Notebook is something like an area where we can write the codes. So we'll cover through that one, and Spark and so that is the first chapter will taken care of. Then we will enter into the Databricks field. So we will explain what is Databricks, and Databricks is nothing like a platform which built on an Apache Spark. So what is an Apache Spark? Means a distributed environment where we can do a massive level of data. When it is a massive level of data, so if you consider 15 years back, it is a very difficult task for processing the big data. So this Databricks people, they introduced a thing called Apache Spark, and that clicked everywhere. So Apache Spark have distributed computing system. There is a lot of terms in that. I will explain it one by one. So the next chapter will be, we will enter into the Databricks world, and we will explain what is Databricks and why it is adopted by this one, and the Spark engine. The Spark engine is the core of Databricks, the engine which have a computing massive power for that one, and we will explain the architecture, how the architecture is made. So you can see here a lot of things: workspace, reasons, catalogs, job pipelines, compute, and SQL editor queues. We will go for all, and data engineering tools, jobs, and data ingestion, how we can do the data ingestion. We will go through this all sections one by one. So that is the next chapter. This module we will have the foundational concept that make Azure Databricks, the choice of why we are doing this integration, and how much integration possibility is there. We will handle that in this particular chapter. Then the next chapter we will learn about the Spark SQL. Here what happens, SQL, I believe that you have an idea about SQL. So it is a common thing everybody knows. So here what we are doing is that, what are the capabilities of the SQL, and we will merge the capabilities of Apache Spark together by using Spark SQL. Spark SQL, we can do everything like a Spark query. So we can execute the queries and the dataset in a lightning speed. So that is the important thing. Here the speed is the main thing. We have different tools in Azure. We have Azure Data Factory, we have Synapse Analytics, we have Fabrics. But when we come to Databricks, the transformation is a very lightning speed. It is happening. So we can use SQL codes, and you can join. You can use join, aggregation, all the things which is required in. What we are using in the SQL, we can use everything, and the Windows function and the user-defined functions. These things will be explained thoroughly for the in this particular chapter. So it will be we have this advanced analytics like ranking, running totals, how the moving averages will be calculated, and you will the user defined function is how we can explain that. So we will explain the Spark SQL. We will start from Python, and PySpark will be the next thing. Then we will have an introduction to Databricks. Then we will go to Spark SQL. The next thing is, though, this is how we are going to interface with the Databricks. So we have mainly four ways of interacting with Databricks. So one is the UAI. So this is the user interface which is used for Databricks. So this is the one way we can go to interact with Databricks. So in this chapter, what we are doing is that what is the way of interaction. So one is Databricks, the other one is CLI and REST API. So we can call some REST API, or using command line, we can connect to Databricks. That is another way that I will explain when we are going to forward the course. So another way is Azure Porter. Azure Porter, if you this is an Azure Porter sample. So what I'm doing is I am going to home. I'm taking Databricks. So this is the environment. This is an Azure portal. I already logged in into Azure portal. There you can see this is how a Databricks look like. So we can create the frames here. So first what we have to do is that we have to make a workspace for that one. To create a workspace, you must have to know what is a resource group, and this is sort of a client concept. I will explain through the class when I was doing this particular section. So this is one way. This is another way we have to create, and what is the pricing tier, and what is the workspace type, hybrid or serverless. So this is one other concept. Another concept is a serverless, means we don't have any knowledge about what is the configuration behind it. Everything will be taken care of the database itself. Otherwise, hybrid means we have to tell them the compute. Compute is nothing but the processing power behind how many cores we have, or what are that setup. What is the setup which is going to run that particular system? So this is one another way to interact to Databricks platform. So other one is the community edition. Community edition is a free edition if you want to work in Databricks. So this is the community edition look like. So it is free of cost. You can log in through your Gmail ID, and you can do everything here. Most of the 80% of the task which is using in the Azure Databricks, that can be replicated here. So in our course, we will use this platform more times, because this is very free of cost. And the main thing is the Databricks environment is very little bit costly. So you have to spend around 10,000 or 20,000. It's depending upon the way we are working on that. So in that case, what we are doing, we will use this community edition for all the hands-on. So our talks will go like once we have this chapter, and we will go the hands-on of this one, and we will explain one by one. So this is how the chapter 4, it will handling how the GUI, how we are going to interact with Databricks. So the next thing is how we are handling the clusters and notebooks in Azure Databricks. So I already explained you, this is how a notebook will look like. So we will go into the depth, how we can create different types of codes, and how there is an option in Spark, we can convert that code from SQL to Python depending upon our use. In the same notebook, we can write Python, and if you put a this is called magic command. If you put a percentage SQL, this will automatically convert to a SQL database. From here onwards, you can write the SQL code. So this is how the notebooks will like. And the cluster, so this is a cluster which is already there. It is I didn't started it, but only when it is required. So this is a cluster which have a serverless cluster, and the size is 2 into x small. So you can start a cluster here by clicking start. So this is what is a cluster, and I already explained what is a notebook. So this is one of the area where we have to, one of the basic things we have to understand that notebook and cluster configuration. And the other thing is jobs. Jobs will come under this. We have jobs and pipelines. Jobs means some sort of the task we have to convert. So we can what is an extract, transport, and load. So we can start with the sample code. I'm just doing it with the sample code. So we can start different pipeline logics. We can add the transformation here, and what are the utilities here. Like that, we can set up a pipeline. Pipeline is nothing like, it is a transformation from one area to another area. I will give you an idea about what is a pipeline. This is not that environment. This is a different environment where I am trying to show you how a pipeline. So this is one of a pipeline which is in Azure Data Factory. So this is a pipeline. So we have different activities. This is called activities. So what I'm doing here, I'm getting a list of tables from a particular database, and I am copying that into another database. So this is a set of tasks. For your understanding, I'm giving a overall picture. So this is called a pipeline. So we can generate this sort of pipeline in Databricks also. But in Databricks, we will go for something very heavy, very heavy load. That will be the purpose of Databricks, and we can schedule this one. So in schedule, we can go for different triggers, like in it should work every day, or it will work on hourly basis or weekly basis, whatever the schedule it is required. So we can configure the jobs like that. So that is one other option which is available in Azure Databricks. So we'll go through that one in the 5th chapter. So it will handling the clusters and notebooks. The next thing is that every pipeline or every first thing which we have to do is that we have to bring this data. So we have some data here. We have to bring this data into here. So that is one of the process. So this is called the ingestion of data. So data ingestion is the critical step in analytic pipeline. So when we are going for an analytic pipeline, we have to ingest the data. So this module will teach you how we are going to ingest data into the environment, Databricks environment. So we have multiple options. We can ingest flat files like CSV, JSON, and Parquet. That is one sort of a format which is very useful because it is a columnar format. I will explain these things to you. What is this? And just for your understanding, we can ingest a CSV file or JSON file, and you can use Azure Blob Storage. So what is Azure Blob Storage is something like, if you go here, so Azure Blob Storage is a storage mechanism which Azure is using. So here I am just showing you how this Azure Blob Storage will look like. So this is Azure Blob Storage dashboard. Here we can create a blob. So if you click on the blob services, we can have, I'm just stored some blob storages here. So this is nothing like, it's a way of folder wise. You know this folders which is aligned in SQL, right? We have personal, Visualpath, Azure Databricks. So like this in cloud, we can create the folder structure. So that is what is a Azure Blob Storage look like. Here I saved a data in XLS. So we can fetch this data in Azure Databricks. There is another one way to input data into the Azure Databricks platform. The other thing is Azure Data Lake. Azure Data Lake is same like Azure Blob Services. The thing is that it is a hierarchical way of assigning the data. So that is one of the thing which we have to understand in Azure Databricks. So here so we will explain what is the data lake and how we can generate the data lake, some sort of. And the other thing is that how we can mount the external storage. So in Databricks, we can mount this from any other cloud platforms like Google Amazon have S3 storage. Like that, different mounting is possible in Databricks. So that I will explain through that one, how we can do the mounting points. So this is a high-level diagram which showing how this interaction is happening. So you can see here in the left side, we have a massive storage is there. So we have Kafka for streaming language. We have SQL Server, MySQL, DB2, PostgreSQL is a database set. And from the cloud, we have SQL and we have Amazon like that. If you want to input data from Salesforce, everything is possible. So we can connect the data from these things and there should be a batch execution, or you know what is a batch execution? It will execute one after another. I will go through. I'm not going to the details of this one. So we can do this change data capture and streaming injection, and this is how the Databricks will have different. So it will input in the Databricks SQL, and it will process here, and the row and ODS and the facts will be generated here, and from here we can go for different analytics platform. So it will be useful for analytics, HR, and this sort of thing. So this is a overview of how this Databricks framework look like. Okay, so that is what the data injection part. Now we are going to organizing your data in the world. So for organizing a structured data in the world, we have Databricks file system, so DBFS. So DBFS is one of the system where we can store our data. I will show you. We have a workspace. If you go, I have stored some data here. So this is the file system. So the file system will and put the data here in. You can see here in default. In demo, I uploaded some files here. So you can upload the files here. So this is the data system which we are using for Databricks. So we will go through that one, how with this that one, and the database tables and the utility catalog. So this is used for the governance purpose. We'll go through this one by one, every detail. So this is how the chapter 4 will look like. So we will explain these things and we will go and do the hands-on. So this course is mainly depending upon the hands-ons. It's not like a regular class, like it will be going for a lectures only. So if you want to know something or we want to become something in data engineering, you have to do the hands-on. So what is our aim is to get you equipped with a 1, 2 or 2 years of experience in data engineer, how the person can handle this weight. So I have done a lot of trainings in enterprise level also. So that is one of our aim to be achieved. Okay, so next thing is become a data engineer. So you must all have an idea about how the data processing with the Spark. So we will explain the Spark, how we are using the data frame API and the data wrangling, clean, reshape, and sort of transformation. Again, here it will the joins, filters, aggregation, and we will handling how the missing data. Missing data is that if there is null value is there and the data is incomplete. In some cases, if you have it, data will come A, B, and E and C. Sometimes some data is missing here, so we have to understand why the data is missed. So this sort of a task is necessary for a data engineer. Data engineer is mainly handling if the data have that level of accuracy. So that is one of the important things. So in this chapter we will learn that processes, how in enterprise level, how we are checking the data, how we are checking the null values, how we are handling this data in case of any error data, how we are going to handle that one. So in this module we will teach you as a data engineer what are the tasks you have to be done in using Spark. So this chapter will explain that particular thing. The next thing which we have to use is a delta lake. So this is one of the concept which is available in Databricks. So this is one of main concept we have to understand what is a data lake. It is an open source system and is migrated to the Apache Spark. So what it is doing, you know, this ACID transaction. So if you're doing an SQL transaction, it should have this ACID capacity, that is called atomicity, concurrency, integrity. Like that we have for transaction types. So something like this ACID transaction, this is one of the features of SQL server. So if you are using a data lake, we have that same ACID properties will be available. Something like one ACID property is that if you're in a bank, so we have account A transferring some amount to account B. So I'm just explaining what is an ACID. So if you start this process, so I'm starting the process as transaction 1. So once the transaction 1 is started, so we will fetch the amount from account A and we will put the amount into account B. So this is one transaction. So if in case any in between the fetching, here the fetching will happen, we'll fetch the data and we will insert the amount into this particular account. So in between, anywhere, if any issue comes, what happens, this entire transaction will be rolled back. So what happens, it will roll back. Roll back means it will go to a state which is on the initial stage, so there is no transaction will happen. This is one of the property which is applicable in ACID. So if you go for a transaction, either the transaction will fully completed, otherwise if in between anything is happening, the rollback will be happening. So that is what we are mentioning as the ACID property. That is one of the ACID property. So Apache's this Delta Lake will give the Apache Spark big loads the ACID transaction. So um, that is one of the thing which is atomistic, consistent, isolated, and durable operation. So, and we will go for the time traveler. So we have historical version. So whenever you are doing any sort of task in Delta Lake, we have the versioning system. So the data will be versioning there, and it will be optimizing for the improving the query performance. And we have the built-in data pipeline and creative ETL frameworks there. So we will go through the fundamentals of data lakes, how it is used in Databricks environment, and what is the importance of that one. Because of that, what are the advantages we are getting? We will go through that particular thing in that particular chapter. The next thing is that we are going to an advanced level of notebooking. Here we will use the DB utilities and the notebook interactivity. It will be we will create reusable notebooks and configurable notebooks that we can. So this is a collaborative environment. Collaborative environment means, so this is my login. So we can collaborate with some other users. If you go in a company, you will not alone will work with some you're a person will sit alone and work. So you have a team there. So if you have a team to work together, so we need a collaborative environment. So here we have the entire collaborative environment is possible. So in one notebook there should be multiple persons can work. In that way, I will show you how we can do the multiple way of entering and interactivity of the notebooks. So this is a little bit advantage topic of the notebooks. Here we will explain the file operations, the secret management, the workflows, and the drop downs, text box, some widgets, I mean, like the text box and menus, how we are doing this one. So we will clear that interactive notebooks part on this particular chapter. And the next chapter is the automation part. Automation is like how we are in real time. It is not like we will just take a notebook and we will do the print statement there. It will not work like that. So in the real environment, we need the notebooks to be assigned in a flow, like we have notebook 1, notebook 1, then 2, then 3. So we have a process happen. So we will generate a job. The job will run. It will have trigger at 8 p.m. The notebook 1 will run. Once the notebook 1 is successfully finished, and then we will go to the notebook 3. And if any data ingestion is happening, that's sort of an automation. How we can do the automation in Databricks, we will cover that one. And the other thing is in this is another module, how we are integrating with CI/CD, this continuous integrity and continuous deployment. That is the term which is in nowadays everywhere. It is continuous integration and continuous deployment. So we will go through and glimpse of Azure DevOps, how it is handling. And the other things is I will go through what is a data factory. I shown you the data factory. This is a data factory look like. We have different pipelines here. You have the linked services, the integration runtimes, how this integration runtimes is created. What is a trigger? Trigger is something like if you want to create a trigger, you can have different type of triggers, like scheduled trigger, tumbling window trigger, storage event trigger, custom event. So this is a level of schedules which we can put there. So if you put a trigger, scheduled trigger, so if you give a start date, automatically on particular time it will start, and the occurrence is every 15 minutes it will get repeated. So that is the way of doing in data factory. And as you know, Azure Database SQL, we'll explain the database SQL, how it will look like, how we will write the queries on that one. So that sort of things will be handled there. And the Synapse Analytics, we will have a glimpse of Synapse Analytics and Power BI. I know you know the Power BI, so we will go through that Power BI also, how the Azure integration, how the ecosystem, the Azure ecosystem will connect to Databricks, how this data factory will connect to Databricks, and how we can connect SQL database to Databricks. So we will handle the ecosystem, entire ecosystem, how the Power BI is connecting to Databricks. This entire ecosystem will be handled. The next thing is the real time. So real-time data. I mean, we will handling the real-time data. That means whenever the data, the process is happening, the real time, how we are handling the real time. So we will go through an Apache Kafka, how it is, and the real time processing of the windowing operations. So we'll handle this real time things in this chapter, and the advanced features like SQL dashboard visualization. Here, yeah, this is some of the dashboard which is default in there. So we can create some dashboards in there. We will go through that particular section, how we can do that one, and scheduling and the performance tuning. So if a process is taking a lot of time, so how we can tune that one. So that is the chapter real-time advanced analytics will handle. And then we will learn about the machine learning engineer. So how to track experience. So here we can have a entire AI/ML task is there, how we can generate the model speeches, the experiments, the playgrounds. So this part will be explained thoroughly in this particular session. So this is how the syllabus is covered. Here we have two modules which will handling the machine learning. So after this particular things is done, we will go for a real-time project. How we can start, how we'll do it from a process where we have this Python, PySpark, and we will go through the different notebooks, and we will do SQL Spark, and we will go through that job scheduling, and the entire thing we will go for a one sort of a project. It will handle everything, so you'll be clearly known about how we can do in a enterprise level what the things are handling. So this is how the chapter covering. And before I will give you a questionnaire section. I'm just explaining this Databricks is a foundation. This is how the course structure will be look like. So what are how we will go into Databricks, and what are the popular things is the interactive notebooks that I already explained. So how this processing will happen, and we will explain the main components of this one. What is the workspace, which is I already shown you. This is the workspace, and we will explain clusters, DBFS. I given a glance of everything. What is the data lake, jobs, this all things. And then other thing is that we will have that Databricks Community Edition. So most of the tasks we will do on that one. How we will create the first book, leverage PySpark, and so this is the link which if you click on this, it will go to a community link. So here you can create a sign up for a free edition. If you sign up for that one, you can do most of the task. Here you have to give your email ID here, and it will create a account for you. So this is what the community edition, and we will go for the runtime compute cluster, and then we will learn this how to attach your first notebook. This sort of things is, I mean, the coding, how we will do the Jupyter notebooks coding and all. Then I will do the coding session. So the hands-ons will start there 1 hour whenever one topic is getting inserted in a day. If we have 1 hour section, so we will explain the topics in 20 minutes, and then we will go for a hands-on section. So hands-on section is very important if you are going to appear for an interview, or if you want to understand the vendor concept. We will explain the concept, and then we will go to the hands-on section. So I'm just given some sample codes. I already explained the sample codes there, how we can create a data frame, and how it will show in a Spark sort of things is. And we can upload files here. As I showed here, if you go to this catalog, you can see here different demo. You can see I have uploaded some documents. We can display these documents by using the code here. So that is what it is explained here. If you can see, we can load a DSP file spark.read CSV and give the path of that particular thing, then automatically the file will load here. So we will explain how we'll go for the lab session of that one. And next, so the other one is Delta Lake. This is very important topic. So other topics will be a little bit easy for you to understand. So I will explain you how we can put the data into Delta Lake. So we have the code format and we will try it one by one on this Delta Lake. So that is the other way of this one. And the next thing, how we will create the visualization. So this is a short introduction of this one. And this is our exact module, which I explained you one by one. So this is the where the pitching point. We will take one by one points on this one, and we will put it as cleared. And every day, it's depending upon the introduction to the Python programming. So we will take 1 or 2 classes. We will do that one. So you must have just a basic understanding of programming language, how it's work. Just like I explained you, sequential looping and branching, how it is explained. So when I was taking the Python class, I will explain this how the sequential and looping and the branching is happening in Python. Then we'll go ahead to the next steps. So that is how the classes will go on.